Chance of thunderstorms are going to be happening tonight for most of us in the Willamette Valley. Who has the highest chance, and by extension, where is that most likely to occur? I'll be talking about that in this video. I'm meteorologist Tanis Leach with this update. To start, I will go over the lightning density that happened on Thursday. There was a lot of lightning strikes in southern Oregon and northern California, especially within the Medford's National Weather Service's area of responsibility. When looking on my lightning app that I have on my phone, I saw that there was over 1,000 strikes in a 30-minute period at one time. That's very high, especially for this early in the season. Also, this low pressure system is what's going to be bringing us in the Willamette Valley that threat of thunderstorms tonight into early tomorrow morning. So, one thing I do want to note with that prolific lightning, there was a few severe thunderstorm warnings, and it was enough to make it second on the list of most severe thunderstorm warnings in Medford's National Weather Service's area of responsibility in the spring months. This is March, April, and May. The only day to beat that is May 4th, 2017, which actually holds the record of most severe thunderstorm warnings west of Highway 97 in Oregon, Washington, and Northern California, with a whopping 34 in a day. So this is pretty rare company for your spring time. I don't know how many of these verified. I can confirm there was one report of severe hail in Northern California, but that's the only one I can confirm via the Storm Prediction Center's website. It's likely most of these aren't going to verify, especially because they were over forested areas versus in urban areas or agricultural areas instead. Now, going over the setup for this again, it's pretty much unchanged from my thoughts yesterday on this. There's a low pressure system situated, as you saw in that satellite imagery, in the northern California coast, and that is going to be bringing moisture in from the south into our region tonight before a more dominant low pressure system merges with this one and moves further north as a result, which kills the thunderstorm chances for Saturday in the South Valley, keeps it for the North Valley, but I think that will be primarily confined to the Cascade foothills with maybe a stray one clap wonder cell heading the Willamette Valley. I did mention this yesterday. I want to touch on it again that this system is tapping into the warmer sea surface temperatures anomaly wise in Southern California. Just to give a gauge where the low pressure system is located, it is right about here, and it is bringing up moisture from the subtropical Pacific, but it's about 2 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal. So this is temperatures that we would be seeing in about June for sea surface temperature wise instead of mid-April. So that is what is providing the fuel to our thunderstorms moisture wise, and then it being in the mid 70s yesterday and low to mid 70s today, it also helps as well. Now, in terms of the overview on the timeline, scattered thunderstorms today. Anyone from Longview south could see one. I think the chance is about 20 to 50% chance, depending on your location. Highest further east in the valley. My thoughts are unchanged on that. Chances seeing thunder within about 12 miles of your location. The thing that has changed, and it isn't shown in this text, is that I think the overall chance between about the Columbia River and Eugene have increased by about 10% for everyone, while it holds about 20% for anywhere north of there. Saturday, like I mentioned, isolated one clap wonders, primarily in the Cascade foothills. If there's any organization, it would be in those foothills in eastern Marion, Clackamas, Multnomah, and Clark counties. And then some other forecast notes. In case it's not clear, thunderstorms will not happen everywhere, so don't be disappointed if you don't don't see one and you're rooting for it, and be happy if you don't see one and you are rooting for no thunderstorms. If it does happen, please get to an indoor facility. Like I mentioned yesterday, I don't expect severe thunderstorms. I can't rule it out entirely, but the chance is less than 5% in my opinion. And then, like I previously mentioned, if you want to see it for whatever reason, go to the Cascades. That's your best chance, or the eastern Willamette Valley. Moving on to the forecast models here, and like yesterday, I'm going to show the entire loop for the RRFS and then the peak time images for the rest of the models that I am going to show. So this starts on about noon or so. So there's already some showers that have popped up over the Cascades, maybe a thunderstorm or two, but it really starts to get going right around that 2 p.m. time period for the Cascades and moves into the South Valley, yeah, at about 3 to 4 p.m. This model has it confined to the eastern sections of the South Valley and the foothills. But as this moves closer to the Portland metro area, it does get a little bit more broad. It's hard to see here, but this is a cell that actually lines up pretty perfectly with the Shayla Mountains coincidentally. So that could mean that a cell hits the Portland area, but by midnight, all the cells have rolled through. And as we go into Saturday, the morning will be mainly dry, but a few cells could pop up in the afternoon. I think most of them will be just showers. I know the RRFS is showing that this could be a thunderstorm cell. I don't personally buy that on this one. I think it would have to have a little bit more terrain forcing as a result. So if this happened, say 20 miles to the east, yeah, I could buy that, but not where it is currently located. But it is to show that, yeah, that chance of thunderstorms do remain on Saturday and on Sunday. Less coverage, but I think there could be a few lingering showers throughout the day. All right, onto the images for the other ones, and we'll start with the HRRR model. This one is taken for tonight at 8 p.m., showing some thunderstorms and more of a bigger line, though not as high of a top end as the RRFS showed. It did show a stronger cell in the central Willamette Valley about 2 to 3 hours prior to this as a side note. So let me rewind back to that so you can see it here parked right in the Corvallis to Albany to Salem area. For the North American model, like yesterday, this model has it confined to the Cascade foothills and the Cascade Range proper, and this also has it confined to after sunset too. So that's an interesting detail for the North American model. I didn't show this yesterday. This is an experimental model, the HRW Wharf model, not to be confused with the UW's Wharf model. This is showing a stronger cell right smack dab in the middle of the Willamette Valley, and this is at 7 p.m. tonight. And the HRDPS, now that I can actually pull it out to show the 6-hour precipitation range for the entire event, it's showing that this is a Eastern Valley centric event, very similar to where I think the most likely area is, but it has a moderate cell that could produce a flash or two in the Tualatin Valley between the Chehalem and the Chehalem Mountains and the West Hills. And then for the Wharf model, this is showing the 3-hour precipitation in accumulation, showing a cell that moved through the Cascade foothills and Cascade crest between 5 and 8 p.m. If I advance this into the evening hours, shows that one cell did develop in the Portland area, possibly it has a thunderstorm. The thunderstorm parameters don't look as good on the Wharf model as it did on the other ones before that moves further north. And just as a side note, I don't have permission to show the graph model's graphics, but I did look at the text version for the graph model, and it shows the chance of a thunderstorm with actually pretty high convective available potential energy, or CAPE, for this area. Has it modeled in the 700 to 900 range for somewhere. The locations varied based on the run. The one that just came out a few hours ago had Salem in the bullseye for that, but the one that came out earlier this afternoon had Portland in the bullseye. But it's been relatively consistent that someone in the Willamette Valley would get at least one thunderstorm. Then on to the Storm Prediction Center's outlook. This is their thunderstorm outlook. This is between 1 and 5 p.m. So before the peak time for the Portland metro area proper, but just going into that peak time for the South Willamette Valley. And it shows Eugene right on this edge of the 40% line, with the Central Valley being in the 10 to 40% area. Let's see if the convective outlook is up. It looks like it is, and it shows just general thunderstorms, similar to my thoughts for the entirety of Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington in the Portland National Weather Service's area of responsibility. It's also showing that chance of thunderstorms on Saturday as well. All right, on to our more detailed timeline. This one is going to be for the South Valley. Temperatures here will be for Corvallis in particular. So for today, I anticipate high temperatures right around 70 degrees. I have bumped that up about 3 degrees compared to yesterday, but look at this drop off. It'll be 70 degrees right when the chance of thunderstorms starts between about 3 and 4 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, Corvallis will be at 61, Eugene probably upper 50s, Salem probably mid 60s, and then at 8 p.m., already looking at the low 50s. This is one of the rare cases where I think it could warm up a degree or two right around sunset instead of it cooling off, but it's not going to make a big difference. It's already cool at this point. And then for the Corvallis Half Marathon, I think it will primarily be dry, but for the latter half of the run, I can't rule out a shower with temperatures climbing into the upper 50s. Chance of thunderstorms in the South Valley will be about 50% within 12 miles of a point, especially if you're further east. For Portland, high temperature of at about 73 degrees. I think that chance will be a little bit later, or by about 2 hours compared to Corvallis, peaking in the 6 to 8 p.m. time frame especially. And the temperature crash will also be slower. So it'll be 70 degrees at 6 p.m., but only about 56 at 10. I think some of that is Urban Heat Island, but that's also because of how it progresses as well, with the chance of thunderstorms about 40%. And then temperature wise will be very similar to Corvallis, still starting a couple of degrees warmer on Saturday morning. Now moving on to our 7-day forecast, I will start with the South Valley. High temperatures will be a little bit below normal from Saturday and beyond, struggling to reach 60 and even struggling to reach the mid 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday, though I do anticipate mainly dry days on Monday and Thursday. And as a note for Tuesday, I think most of this rain will hold off until later in the day. Also, for anyone who has weekend activities, this also includes for Portland, I think both Saturday and Sunday will be more or dry than wet, where any rain you do get will be in the latter half of the day. So if you have any yard work you need to do, get that done before about 1 p.m. especially. For the Portland metro area, high temperatures will be a little bit above Corvallis until about Wednesday. I don't think Tuesday's rain chance in the South Valley will make it up to Portland until after sunset. So I have Tuesday as partly cloudy as a result. And it does start to get nice again as we go into late next week. And like yesterday, I did put a note for Saturday that most people aren't going to be seeing thunderstorms on Saturday, but it is just barely high enough at a 20% chance that I use the thunderstorm graphic because of the one clap wonder risk. For context, I don't normally make forecast videos for one clap wonders. It is today's threat that has triggered these forecast videos. Speaking of that, thank you all for watching. That will be it for this video. There's a 50-50 shot whether I make a video tonight going over it. It kind of depends on what happens. This very well could end up being a nothing burger west of the Cascade Foothills. If that happens, I'm probably not going to make a video about it. But regardless of what happens, stay safe out there and take care.